Hey guys, what's up? It's Adam here from AM Music, and today I wanted to have a look at one of my favorite tricks with music production, and I just love the sound of reversed audio. It doesn't matter what it is, a reversed vocal, reversed piano I particularly love. There's so many cool things you can do. So let's just jump straight into it. First off, I'll show you how you reverse something in Logic if you don't already know. So let's just bring in a loop. I'm just going to get let's just get a sample. I'm just going to get a crash cymbal. There you go. So crash. And one of my favorite things to reverse is cymbals. So to reverse it, you can just go click, come down to more here with the inspector region open and tick reverse. And that's all you have to do to reverse something in Logic. If I play it. And reverses like this are great for leading into choruses, leading into drops, that kind of thing. And I use them all the time. If you've already got a crash cymbal in your track, use the same one and just reverse it. You might have to bounce it in place first. Otherwise, you might end up reversing the wrong one. And in a similar way, you can also do the same with snare. Okay, got some snares there. I only want one. Let's chop that fella out. Let's zoom in on him. Okay, so there's your snare. Okay, and now let's reverse this bad boy. I love that sound. That's really nice to do into like a drum beat. So you could have, let's do a quick groove. Get something really quick here. So I've just put in a beat really quickly. Very simple. Now what I could do is I could use this snare to rise up into that next snare, but because it's come from a different kit, it's probably going to sound a bit funky. Well, it still sounded alright actually. And this is a really cool thing you can do. Like it really kind of adds like a suction, like a vacuum kind of breathing into something. So it can be really cool. But if I wanted to go one step further, make it sound better, I'd probably bounce this in place. Okay. Just take that roughly there. And I'm going to duplicate it and reverse it. Now they sound like they belong together. You might just want to adjust the tail so they don't blend in too much. You can use it for adding a bit of interest to your drum beat. So that's what I like to do with snares. You can also time stretch them, which can be quite cool. So let's just take this one here and I could lead up into it. So let's time stretch it. Not going to let me, is it? So bounce that in place. And you can create a riser from doing that. And you've got a cool little effect there leading up into your break. So that's just using crashes and snares. Another thing I love the sound of is the piano. Reversing a piano sounds so cool if you ask me. What we got? So say I want to add a piano part. Let's just use the session player. I like the sound of chords being reversed, so let's go big chords. Okay, sure, why not? So let's just take that. I'm going to bounce that in place so I can reverse it. Regions, reverse. I think that's such a cool sound, and that doesn't quite do what I want to do, but I could definitely take that last one and use that as like my build up to something. Like that going into something would sound really cool. So you might just have it doing something like that. So you might have that reverse piano going up into the start of the real piano. Okay, yeah, just an idea there. But yeah, reverse piano sounds really cool. And I bet even if you reverse this whole thing, it doesn't have to be too good. I just want to show you, demonstrate the sound of reverse piano because I think it's so cool. That's so cool. I love that sound. It's definitely one of my favorites. So you can maybe even make some sort of loop just out of that reversed. Find a section you like, loop it over. You might be able to make a... Okay, so one of my favorite things to do as well is reverse reverbs. Okay, so let's pull up a kick drum. Okay, let's go with that one. So I've got just a plain kick drum. And I'm going to make a transition effect out of this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick a reverb on this kick drum. So let's just use good old Space Designer. Dynamics, where are we? Reverb, Space Designer, stereo. Okay, so I'm just got rid of all the dry there, and I only want the wet signal. Okay, so I've got that now, and what I can do is I can actually just simply reverse that by going to doing that, hitting reverse. That's a cool effect, right? And if I just want to bounce that so I can play with it. There you go. So maybe I want to take that. I might have to cut it just before the main transient comes in. Something like that. Let's have a listen. Probably just fade that out a little bit. Cool, and you get like a nice little build up. Cool. But you can put that reverb on anything. It doesn't just have to be a kick drum, obviously. It could be, another thing I like a lot are guitar samples. So like power chords and reversing a power chord, especially if you're doing some guitar bass music. So if I go to get a guitar sample, good job I have my own sample pack of guitar samples. Okay, well, let's just use that one. That sounds quite cool. So I've got a... Okay, so I've dragged and dropped in my sample, and now what I'm going to do is reverse it, as we've done, and you get this cool build-up sound. So... You can obviously reverse a whole drum part as well. So if I choose those ones, this will sound weird. Yeah, one thing you might want to factor in is, say you've got a chord progression and you want to reverse it. Say you are going to do some keys. Say you were to do something like that. And if you wanted to reverse it, your chord progression is now going to be out of order. So the smart thing to do before you reverse it would be to move it around so your first notes are last. And you switch the order up. So you've now switched the order back to front so that now you can't actually reverse MIDI, so you have to bounce it in place first. Now that I've reversed it, the chord progression is going to be in the right order still. So by reversing it first, reversing the note order first, like we did with the MIDI, when you then reverse the audio, it's still going to be the correct progression with everything else that's going on in your track. It's not going to be back to front. So another tip as well, if you're using sweeps and things like that, so you're doing electronic music, what you can do is if you've got one you really like, all you have to do is reverse it. Then you've got two effects out of the same one sound. So let me just take something. Let me go a sweep. Old Vengeance sound. It's not nice, but say I quite like the sound. But I want to use it as an uplifter instead. If you reverse it, now you've got an upriser instead. So you can turn one effect into two, and that's quite handy. So there you have it. There are a load of different things you can do by reversing things. So just adding in these little reverses, I think is such a cool way to add another layer of depth to your production. So yeah, hope this inspires you to try out some of your own. See you on another video. Take care.